Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the latest AMD news. Their earnings, what's happening with AI, and what it could all mean for the stock. The stock is down about 6% after earnings, but I first mentioned AMD back on May 21st, 2025, when it was trading around $112. Even with today's pullback, it's still up nearly 48% since then, which is a solid gain in just a few months. In this video, we'll break down what caused the drop, take a closer look at the numbers, and talk about whether AMD still has room to run. Let's get into it. All right, let's break down the numbers from AMD's latest earnings report. Total revenue came in at $7.7 billion, which is a 32% increase year over year. Solid growth across key segments. They also reported free cash flow of over $1 billion, showing strong operational performance and financial discipline. Now, about margins. Gross margin was reported at 43%, but that includes an $800 million inventory write-down, mainly tied to export restrictions for AI chips headed to China. Excluding that write-down, gross margin would have been 54%, which is much more in line with expectations. Looking at the business segments, data center revenue came in at $3.2 billion, up 14% compared to last year. That's decent growth, but honestly, investors were hoping for a bit more momentum, especially with all the buzz around AI. The standout was definitely in client and gaming, which brought in $3.6 billion. That's a huge 69% jump year over year. Really impressive. On the flip side, embedded revenue dropped slightly, coming in at $824 million, down about 4% from last year. As for guidance, AMD is expecting $8.7 billion in revenue for Q3, give or take $300 million. That's a bullish outlook, and it shows they're confident in the pipeline going into the back half of the year. Now, even with those strong headline numbers, AMD's stock dropped around 6% after hours. So what happened? Well, a few things spooked investors. First, while data center revenue did grow 14% to $3.2 billion, it missed some analyst expectations, especially when compared to how fast NVIDIA's data center business is growing. With all the hype around AI, any sign of slower traction in that space gets magnified. Second, AMD took a hit from export restrictions to China. They weren't able to include sales of their MI308 AI chips in guidance because they're still waiting on U.S. government license approvals. That's also what led to the $800 million inventory write-down, which dragged reported gross margins down to 43%. And finally, after a plus 55% rally since May, the stock was priced for perfection. So this earnings release, while solid, left just enough uncertainty for some investors to take profits. Let's talk a bit more about the China situation because it played a big role in AMD's earnings reaction. Right now, AMD isn't allowed to ship certain high-performance AI chips like the MI308 to China without getting specific export licenses from the U.S. government. These are the same types of restrictions that have affected companies like NVIDIA too. Because of that, AMD had to exclude all China-related AI chip sales from this quarter's results and from their forward guidance. And that's exactly why they took that $800 million inventory write-down. Those chips are just sitting in storage for now. The good news is AMD made it clear that once those licenses come through, they're ready to sell those chips immediately. So, in a way, this isn't lost revenue. It's delayed revenue. It's just a question of when the U.S. government gives the green light. And when that happens, AMD could see a pretty fast revenue bump from those held-back shipments. So after all that, where do I stand? I still think AMD is a buy. Yes, the after-hours dip might shake some people out, but when you zoom out, the bigger picture still looks strong. They gave bullish guidance for Q3. They're clearly positioned to benefit from the AI wave, especially once those export licenses come through. And across the board, from gaming to client to data center, chip demand is growing, not slowing. Short-term volatility? Sure, but long-term? I think AMD is building serious momentum, and this pullback might actually be a great entry point for those who missed the last run. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next update. Let me know in the comments. Are you buying AMD here or waiting for a deeper pullback? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.